on wisdom. I, like many people, have striven for wisdom through my life without really thinking about what is wisdom and how do you attain it. Some people are kind enough now that I'm 80, looking back over a life of striving for understanding and travelling around the world and so on, to say that I have, or seem to have, some sort of wisdom. They don't define what they mean, but I think that what they must mean is that when they listen to me or read what I write, it seems to get at some deeper truth which they hadn't thought of, and which, once explained, solves some puzzle or gives them some guidance in their lives. And this provides some clue to what one means by wisdom. There's an obvious distinction between wisdom and knowledge. Knowledge is something which, throughout my education and life, I, like many, have sought for. It means to know things, to know about things. And knowledge is contained usually in an array of facts, things that are fairly certain about the world, whether in chemistry or physics or history or anthropology. This knowledge, so you have knowledge of many, many areas of your life, whether it's gardening or cooking or music or whatever it is. You have knowledge. It's the sort of thing that's tested when you have competitions like Mastermind or whatever, and you're asked what your special subject is, and you choose William the Conqueror, and you're asked questions of a factual nature about William the Conqueror. Most of us build up a huge amount of knowledge. We have to as human beings. 99% of it, more or less, we don't know about. It's just concealed because we've just filled our minds with this knowledge. And the 1% on the surface is of a descriptive kind. It describes the world and facts in it. Wisdom, on the other hand, is taking that knowledge and then distilling out of it something which goes beyond the knowledge into a set of patterns of some kind, which have, they're not necessarily laws of a scientific kind, but they are patterns, they are tendencies, they are likely connections. And so gradually over your lives, you learn things which are not given by the facts themselves. The facts are on the path to wisdom, but beyond them there's a creative and imaginative process which takes those facts and distills out of them. It's rather like making distilled liquor. You take all the grain and so on, which are the facts, and then you distill it through an almost magical process, or in many crafts, as with pottery, you make the clay and pottery, pot and glaze it and so on, and then you fire it, and the final firing in the mind and experience makes it into something very different from just the bits that went into it. And so wisdom is something like that, and it's something which ideally you should develop as, say, in my profession, as an academic, because if you are teaching young people, if you just teach them knowledge, facts, then they could well argue, well, I can get that out of other sources. It's all in Wikipedia, or it's all in books, or you've written your book, and why am I listening to you, and why am I going through personal teaching? So in terms of knowledge now in particular, the internet provides vast arrays of knowledge. All the knowledge you need is out there at a click of a computer mouse. But there are people, and I suppose I'm one of them, who believes that however much knowledge there is around, it would be good if there was also some wisdom. Now, one person's wisdom is another person's folly, obviously, and many people would take my wisdom and say it was I'd come to the wrong conclusions. But it's something which I strive for, and there are moments when you feel that you are beginning to attain that. And in some of your writings, my writings, and in some of my talks, I feel I'm getting beyond this world into something which is a little more permanent. I suppose the equivalent, though you wouldn't call it wisdom, is when you paint a painted masterpiece, or you write a piece of wonderful music which is eternal, and you reach a level which is beyond the notes or the brushstrokes and becomes immortal. And that is what one is seeking for, that kind of wisdom. It's something which I didn't think about much and have only recently become more aware of as I give these talks and as I try and summarize what I've learnt in my life. Have I learnt any wisdom? And if I haven't, there's nothing for me to say. If there's something, there is some wisdom, then I can maybe pass it on to my children, grandchildren, and other people who listen to me. So I hope that there is wisdom, and I hope that at times I have attained some kind of wisdom, which only comes through a long period of thought and experience and good fortune. And I leave it to you to decide.